my mic on? Hello, everyone. I feel like I just got a participation prize. Here's Karl Popham. He's been to every one. Yes, 100% attendance. And this is what you get when you get 100% attendance. I get to greet you to ETS. So quick question, housekeeping here. Who here is visiting from out of town? Raise your hand. Who here is from Austin? Raise your hand. And who didn't raise their hand? Very good, yes. I encourage the locals, get with our guests. Welcome to Austin. We are so excited to have you here for the 10th anniversary ETS. My next ad hoc polling question, who here works for an electric utility of some sort or a power generator? And I noticed you don't have to be shy. This is a conference for you. When the same people who said, I'm from out of town, they're doing this, and electric, I can see you. I mean, the lights, and then you do this. Who's our service providers here, our partners? See, they're glad. So I also recommend a lot of mingling between as well. I have been very blessed over the last 10 years to meet friends, partners, collaborating partners, strategic and tactical partners through this. And so I want to kind of highlight over the 10 years. So all I'm going to do here is reflect on the last 9, because that's what you do when you do a 10-year anniversary, right? You reflect on years 1 through 9, and then I'm going to share with you what I'm most excited about this year. So this is day 1. This is what Z Prime day 1 looked like at the beautiful Paramount Theater. Wozniak was the keynote. He came on stage on a Segway with a marching band, and there were some stormtroopers involved. And I think that's when everyone realized this is something unique. We weren't used to seeing that. You also, then one of the next speakers was not a speaker, but a celloist and musician. And so it really brought kind of the arts together with energy. So one, that made it unique, but I would say what made it special is these guys. You can clap for Jason and Mark. And here's what I found out about working with Jason and Mark, not only the 10 years of ETS, but even meeting them before they launched Z Prime. And they had 2 ideas, 2 things they were passionate about. One was we want to get into energy and energy research. Their other passion was people don't have access to banking services, undocumented residents and the like. And so they were trying to figure out what they want to do when they grow up. So they started focusing on the energy side, and then within a few years of doing some collaboration work with them, then they launched ETS. And here's what I found out about them on ETS day 1. One, it was very clear they've never run a conference before. They had no clue. The night before, they were scrambling to, we're on the hook for microphones? And so they're scrambling for microphones. And then once the conference started going, I would also suggest they've never attended a conference before. And I think that's what made it special. They didn't have a preconceived notion or a template, or this is how, especially an electric utility conference is supposed to look like. It looked completely different. Participation was different. And you even notice today, all these future leaders up here doing the pitch on the wonderful competition. They've always done, let's get our young people involved, so they've always had students involved and really deep discounted, giving away tickets, less than the price of meals, to get young people voice at the table. And they just completely flipped the switch based on a vision they had, and a vision that came out of their brains, and not because this is what we did here, and now we're moving that forward here in Austin. So I would say the creative heart of ETS is Mark. I highly recommend you follow him on LinkedIn, and you'll get some of the most bizarre, strange, lovely videos or vignettes that you've ever seen. And then Jason is really the soul of the organization. And you might have seen a little video running prior to me getting up. It seemed weird. And it seemed what was going on. The whole birth of that is I was doing a podcast or interview of some sort with Jason, and he had these really small, tiny, retro Sony headphones on, like from the 80s, and I just started making fun of it. It's what I do, and it's hard, so I think when I post hashtag tiny headphones. Well, his team loved it, And so they did a whole mockumentary about him and his tiny, they even interviewed his mom. And his mom's quote is right there. He always thought outside the box as a baby. I mean, they got their mom to say that on camera in a mockumentary, just basically making fun of his tiny headphones. And just really, and it's kind of the style behind the music. You know, there's the arc, there's the, you know, where he crashed and they came up. But it also just shows the love and the culture of what I call the Z crew. That's the Z prime and ETS function, of just how they're, as a culture, and how they're able to think and innovate. So the other secret sauce, I think what is unique, is they made our conferences, or an energy electric conference, cool. I mean, who here has been to a conference, you know, 5, 10, 20, and it was specifically targeted for electric utilities? Okay, so who's all been to a conference just like that, not at ETS? Just raise your hand. Have you ever been to an electric conference that was targeted for utilities? Now keep your hand raised if it also felt like it was cool. No, they're not. It's not. It's a bunch of dudes, 50 plus, in blazers, and most of them are engineers of some sort. It's terrible. So I think their approach with bringing in the creative arts, both music and painting and real-time painting and arts in that creative sphere into electric industry is part of that secret sauce to really make it cool again. So here in some of the visuals here, you see a member of my team, Amy Atcher, just rocking it out on guitar at one of the hype parties. Previously been at the Moody Theater where Austin City Limits is filmed, and then the beautiful historic Paramount Theater. Zaza, very nice. And just, so one, the venue is just kind of where it starts at. You know, it's not at the city's conference center or something else. So there's a lot of heart in what the vibe of the venue is. And then it just all goes from there. So I'm going to highlight a few of my favorite ETS moments and share with you, and really have a perspective on, you know, what does a 10-year strategic relationship with ETS look like to me? And then it really even goes back a few more years added on top of that before ETS was born with the Z Prime. So we had an idea to launch a electric vehicle showcase downtown, a celebration space, but also a space to have solar panels, EV charging, DC fast level 2 EV charging, bike charging, and just the whole ecosystem. And we couldn't think of a better party or partner to launch that than ETS. So ETS17, day one of ETS, and you can see photos of our mayor and whatnot, is we launched the Electric Drive Showcase. And it was just a fantastic event, and really just helped drive up the attention and the media attention. And it's so much easier to launch an event with great participation and hype and then farm that than just having that slow bubble up. So we really want to thank them for that moment in time. Also, they have been a great partner with us for EVs for Schools. So EVs Schools was originally launched in 4 Title I schools here in Austin to bring electric vehicle and related curriculum to our future leaders. And it started in 4 schools. It's now in over 160 schools in Central Texas, as well as some schools and districts throughout the US. So we're really pleased with that and where we're at. And we have our project lead, Amy, right in the front there. So if you want to learn more about EVs for Schools, Amy, we can see, can you raise your hand so I'm just not pointing? Talk to Amy, and she'd be happy to tell you how you can bring EVs to schools, to your schools and your community at low to no cost for your school. Then, as EVs for Schools developed, added a virtual reality companion to it, as well as it's also available in Spanish language. It just started adding and growing in popularity. So once again, we partnered with Z Prime and now a spin-off organization, Frolic. And if you want to see some great VR demonstration, right through that door and you take a sharp left, you can visit with the team there and see what VR can do and do for your organization. For us, it was just a great part of the engaging our students and having a wonderful platform and a way to gamify and get kids interested in EVs. And of course, we did the big launch event at ETS. You can even see here just one of the working meetings between my team and the Z crew as well on working on requirements for VR and just other strategic meetings. So it's just not like ETS and we're done. Well, we do participate and collaborate with this gang throughout the year. It's just wonderful. Another highlight I want to share with you is when Stevie was reborn here on planet Earth. Of course, Stevie became known to the world at ETS23. Stevie is the EV-loving T-Rex. Stevie is a member of my team as an intern, 65 million years of experience, and just a wonderful way to, once again, just be a little fun and just be a little more engaging in our community. And also, as an electric utility, we want to reflect our community values as well. And keeping it fun, keeping it weird is just part of a reflection of that. With that said, internally and lessons learned, I don't know if I'd recommend in the future, if you launch your own Stevie, you want Stevie to be front and center as a thought leader over your CEO, which is down bottom right. But still, we couldn't have been happier with the launch of Stevie, and the Z crew really helped kind of give that the launch it needed. So what else were we finding that needed to happen? One, we were realizing people were going to a traditional dealership, and they weren't getting the experience that was converting them to be a buyer. They were being misdirected to a gas car, or overall could have had a frustrating experience. So one of the things we did to address that here in Austin, we launched the Buyer's Guide, collaborated with a lot of stakeholders to include Z Prime that helped with the messaging and helped kind of launch that program. Today, we get over 10,000 unique visitors a month to the Buyer's Guide in a sales funnel that sells 1,000 EVs per month. So we're sending about a 10-to-1 sales funnel to our local dealerships through real-time inventory as well as information on incentives. If you want to check out the Buyer's Guide, ev.austinenergy.com. And if you want to learn how to replicate and have your own EV Buyer's Guide, we have Bobby, the project lead. Bobby, raise your hand. Talk to Bobby. He can tell you how you can quickly roll out your own EV's Buyer's Guide in your community. ETS 2022, we're getting to last year. Finally, after 9 years of on and off, shortlisted for Thought Leader of the Year, our chief executive, Jackie, brought home, I was gonna say the trophy, but I tried to zoom in. It's a fist that does this, and it lights up, and it makes a noise, and don't press the third button on the right while you're at work. So I don't know if we're gonna be passing the fist on, or they get a new trophy, but Wednesday, we being the proverbial we, will be announcing the new thought leader, and the official fisting to the new thought leader will occur. So I'm wrapping up here, and what I'm really excited about is I do have the best team on the planet. No one even comes close. Could I have the team, if you're out, can you stand up just for a second? The EV and Emerging Technologies team. Ken, we just hired you now. You can stand as well. Without a doubt, they do the heavy lifting. Also, if you like these cool electric greater than gas t-shirts, if you have a Bobby sighting, and that's Bobby right there with the camera, you tell him, love Stevie, correct? That you love Stevie.
I prefer Stevie Forever.
Sorry, Stevie Forever. And he has a selection of high-quality electric greater than gas t-shirts. So if you bend Bobby's ear, if you find him out in the field, in the wild, and say Stevie Forever, he's going to hook you up with one of these awesome electric greater than gas, which he's modeling right here as well. I still remember, I was almost a little nervous about telling Bobby. I remember one time I did this in an audience, and he started taking off his shirt to like show it. And that's when we had a discussion with HR. But coming up, so Cameron, you see on the photo there, he's going to have a really good talk about EV infrastructure. Historically, we've seen a lot of emphasis on deployment, but the industries really need an emphasis on reliability and availability. And so Cameron will talk about what we're learning there. We manage a little over 1,600 charging ports and growing, and what we've learned there and trying to shift that focus, frankly. Lindsay, who just stood up, she's going to be talking to our friends and partners at Energy Hub on grid integration. And this is built on a stack of other projects we've done to include EV360 and an ARPA-E grant. There's a lot of ways to do it. And I think the highlight this year is what did we learn with the Energy Hub integration, or what are we learning? Amy, who is right there in the front row as well, is going to have a really great talk about equity and access. Make sure EVs are for everyone, indeed, and that's near and dear to our heart. And if you see Nathan walking around, he's a new dad, so maybe he'll talk to you about new dad stuff. So that's what I'm personally looking forward to. Once again, welcome to Austin. I am very glad y'all are here. I'm just ending on a personal note. This is going to be my last ETS as a member of Austin Energy. I do leave Austin Energy after 17 years at the end of this month. So this was just a nice closeout, but thank you again for coming to Austin, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.